Hello everyone and welcome to Olivia Rose Floral Designs, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a horizontal double-ended floral display. Let's get to it. Okay, so in today's demonstration we're going to be starting with a white plastic Oasis bowl, and I've gone for white rather than my usual green purely because this would be for a wedding top table or possibly a side table in the foyer, and the tablecloths are quite often white, and this bowl just blends in nicely with the white rather than the big bulky dark green bowl. Okay, so in today's display we're going to use the base and build this with leather leaf, and this is purely to give it some depth and a solid style. Our main flower will be the beautiful yellow gerbera. We're going to go for a cream rose, some freesias, some beautiful yellow freesias, some small daisies, and some Solidaster. And these will just give different textures to the display and will allow the cream roses to pop with all the variations of yellow. Okay, so to get started, you need to soak some Oasis in a bowl. And the way to do that is to fill a bowl which is deeper than your Oasis and pop the Oasis on top with the water and just allow the Oasis to soak in the water naturally. Do not try to push it down because you'll create air bubbles in the Oasis and this could damage the flowers. Okay, so once it's drained, you just need to pop that in your pot. I've already cut mine to size so it's nice and solid at the bottom. And then you can start building your arrangement. So if I just slide those over to give myself some space. Okay, so first of all we take the leather leaf, and I'm going to go for a couple of pieces that are roughly the same shape and size. Okay, and the reason I'm going to do this is because these are going to give us the width of our arrangement. When you're designing your arrangement, you really need to think about the length of the arrangement and the width of the arrangement and everything else that's going to be on the table, because it's very easy to create an arrangement that's too large or too bulky. Okay, so I've cut those to size. Oh, that one's poking up. And you can see that I've bent the leaves downwards when I've entered them. So I'm just going to adjust those slightly. And that will be the length of your horizontal arrangement. We're now going to go for the width. And again, taking some similar pieces, I'm just going to cut these down. Okay, so with these ones, as you can see, they're quite big. So I'm going to take the bottom layer of leaves off and just cut this again at an angle. And then I'm going to simply pop it in and fold it down. And then again for my other piece, just so they're similar sizes. And I'm going to do the same for the other side. So now you can see you've got your length and your width of your arrangement. From there, you just need to build outwards. So I'm just going to start popping these in and building up my display. Okay, so I'm just going to work my way around the Oasis until it's covered with the leather leaf to give us a good base. Okay, so we're almost there. We've just got a couple more to pop in on top. And with the top layer, I'm going to leave this quite bare with foliage, and that's purely so we have access to the foam to insert the flowers. Okay, so you can see here the shape is starting to take place. So you have your length and your width, and the foliage is just layered and built up around the sides. Okay, so you can still have a little poke around until you're completely happy with that. So I'm going to use these stunning Gerberas, and I'm going to start them off each end and then layering them around the sides. Okay, so I'm just going to move these back so I've got some space. And we need to pick some nice solid ones. Okay. So I'm just going to start by lifting the second layer of foliage and inserting the Gerbera into the side of the foam. You quite often find with Gerberas as well, they do have wonky stems, so you have to be careful when you use those types of Gerberas, and maybe use them for a shorter stem later on in the display. Okay. So again, I'm just going to work my way around. So I'm going to add 2 each end to start with. Like that. And then I'm going to choose a really nice flat one for the middle. Okay. Maybe this one. So this will now give you the height of your arrangement. Just about so. Okay. So if I face that way, then you'll be able to see that on the camera. Okay, so I'm going to put one leaning that way, and then one leaning this way. Okay, and then I'm just going to add 2 more Gerberas to this arrangement, and that's going to be at the width of the display. Okay, I'm just going to spin that one around and add the other one in. Gerberas are very delicate, and they come in flat boxes when I order them from my supplier, so quite often the petals can be knocked or damaged, and sometimes the stems may need wiring to give them some extra support. Okay, so there are all my Gerberas in. So I'm just going to spin that round and show you what that looks like. Okay, so now we're going to add the cream roses. Okay. And these ones I'm going to add in between the Gerberas and then a couple on top. So I've already gone ahead and deformed these roses, so we don't need to worry about that, and I've taken all the leaves off apart from the top ones. Okay. Again, when you insert the flowers, you may need to just hold the Oasis just to give the arrangement some support. Just turn that around. So the roses I'm popping in are the edges of the Oasis block. Okay, so you can see that. And one in here. And then another one just in this side. So then you've got your 4 roses layered in between your Gerberas. And so you can reposition them, have a look down onto them and just move them slightly out so that they're equal lengths. Okay, just be very careful when you do that so you don't snap any of the stems. Okay, so now you can see that it's starting to take shape. So you've got your roses and your Gerberas, and then we're going to choose 2 nice flat ones for the top of the arrangement, because roses can come in all different shapes and sizes, and again you can order them in bunches of 20 or 50 or a box of 100, and they'll be the same type of rose but they will be different sizes and shapes. So you always check beforehand to see which shape would be best suited in your display. I'm just going to take the leaves off this one, and I'm just going to pop these in just here. And the other one just on this side here. So again, I'm just going to twist that one so it turns up and sticks out nicely. Okay, so you can also see the height of these, and then they slope downwards towards the edge. And I always make sure that the foliage, whether it's leather leaf or any other type of foliage, is longer than the longest flower. And again, the same for the width as well. Okay, so now we've got our Gerberas and our roses. I'm going to go ahead and start to add my Freesias. So I'm going to cut them. So I've taken off the buds and I've just got the actual main flower. And I'm just going to go around the edge of the bottom and pop these in. So to start with, where you have your main row of Gerberas and then your rose on the corner, I'm going to go around and put the Freesias in between the rose and the longest Gerbera. And I'm going to do it so the buds on the Freesia are pointing downwards like this. And I'm going to do that for all 4 corners. And sometimes you may need to adjust one of the roses if it's a little bit close to your Gerbera, which I have done with this one, which you can't really see, so I'm being a bit sneaky. But now they're nicely spaced out and even. I'm then just going to go around the top of my display and just place the Freesias above the white rose on the corner, but I'm going to point them inwards towards the Gerbera. So again, I'm going to do this to all 4 sides, and I'm going to point them all in facing the Gerbera. There's no reason for this, it's just the way I always seem to do it, just so it looks even from all angles. But there's no set rule on where to put your flowers and how to angle them. It's just a habit I've got into over the years. Okay, so now you can see it's certainly taken shape. Okay, and you can see that the gaps that were apparent earlier with the lack of foliage are now being filled up with the flowers. So next I'm going to go for my Solidaster, which is this lovely yellow flower. It's a very, very small flower, very delicate, and I love using it because it just gives a bit of texture and depth to my arrangement, and just gives it a more delicate touch. And some of these are in full bloom and some of them are still small buds, so you can use a variety of them throughout your display. So I'm just going to take this one here and I'm just going to work my way around the bottom. Again, no set order, no set plan for these ones. I'm just going to pop them in where I see gaps and make sure I have an even coverage across my whole display. So I'm really having trouble finding the Oasis on this side. There we go. And it's quite nice because with the budded parts you can just discreetly pop them in anywhere you like. Okay, so I'm just going to continue around my display, just adding in these yellow flowers. And these have quite a few leaves on them as well, so this will certainly fill in any gaps from the foliage. And I use the single ones as well just to dot around on top. Oh, make sure you hold it. This is looking quite pretty now, and I think this Solidaster makes such a big difference. And it doesn't take up too much room in the Oasis, because you also have to remember that small block of Oasis has all of these stems inside. So you need to make sure you keep this watered really, really well. Okay, so I'm just going to have a look at this side. I'm just going to turn this slightly so I can work on the other side. So you can normally order this in bunches of about 10 stems from your local florist. So if you just ask for Solidaster, and they'll normally be able to order it in for you. You know, they don't come with any thorns, so they're very easy to de-leaf. I simply just hold my finger there and pull the leaves off, nice and easy. But they do stain your fingers, so be careful. Mine are ruined, so I don't mind anymore. So again, just take the leaves off. And the stem's quite firm, so easy to insert. Okay, so this one's looking good. I just need another end piece. Again, I'm going to take all of these extra parts off here. And again, when you're doing a wedding display and you're using this type of flower, all of these small pieces can be used for the buttonholes or corsages. So never throw them out. I normally have a little bowl or a bucket or a tray, and I put all my little odds and sods in there to see if I can use them elsewhere. Okay. Right, so I think that's enough of the Solidaster, and we're now going to go for the Daisies. So again, very delicate flowers, very small, and these ones are very fragile, so you need to be careful when you're popping these in. So I'm going to start with some on top. Okay, like that. And I just think they're so beautiful. And they're quite discreet. So you might want to cut these to the length of the height that you want them, because I don't think they're very good at being inserted into the foam. So they may snap quite easily. Okay, so again, no set rule. I'm just going to go around my floral display and insert some of these daisies. Yeah, these stems are very fragile. If you do snap them, do not worry, just take them out, give them a trim and try and insert them again. And I think it's good to remember, if you're creating a wedding display, you've got to think that your guests will be sat down. So make sure you bring your flowers all the way down to the bottom, just so it's, you know, you can still see the floral design along the edge of the bottom of the display. I think sometimes that's overlooked. Okay, it's starting to take shape. I think it's surprising what an impact just adding different variations and textures of flowers can make, and just adding these small delicate flowers at the end of the display can transform the display completely. So it's getting less and less space now in this poor floral block. Okay, so I'm just thinking I'm going to put a few more here. And I'm going to turn my display and just have a look, see what's going on your side. That's nice and even. And I'm just going to work on this side. Okay, so once I finish with my daisies, I think I'm going to revisit my freesias. And the reason for that is, apart from the main flower with the buds at the end, on each stem you have a small cluster of tiny buds. So I'm going to insert some of those as well. And I'll show you what I mean in a moment. I think we're nearly done with the daisies. Put a few more down there. Okay, so let's just pop my daisies back in their vase. I'm going to make a nice headdress for that later on, and I'll probably upload that at a later date for you to have a look at. Okay, so going back to my freesias, you can see, sorry, they all tangle themselves together. You can see from this one, you have the main head, and then you have two stems with some smaller buds, and you can see all the ones where I've already cut the main head off. So I'm now going to take these smaller buds and I'm just going to pop them in Go randomly again, as always. So you just got to look for the gaps and just think about where they may look really nice. I'll just break up some of these textures if we already have. Long. Put a couple down here, like so. And I think with these freesia buds, because this display is quite rounded, they just curve nicely into the shape of it. So let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions or any other textures that you'd like to see me pop together on a display for you, and I'll be happy to do so. Always please remember to subscribe, it's free to do so, and then you'll be alerted to all my new up and coming videos, which will be coming out shortly. Okay, so I think that is my display complete. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and I will be posting lots more videos throughout this year, and we're coming up to wedding season, so please stay tuned, and thank you for watching. Thank you. Bye.